Hey guys, so as promised, we're gonna talk a bit more about karmic contracts. I already made like one audio, I think, maybe two, on this topic, but it was quite brief. I want to make, more. I want to talk more about it. It's an important topic, and when you kind of understand it, it's gonna be maybe easier for you to let go and to really detach so your spell could work because it's not all so personal as you take it, and a lot of your reactions and a lot of your attachment and neediness comes from your ego and your core wounds. So it's important to understand these things, and then our life is just easier, right? Because we kind of have the deeper understanding of stuff. We know why things are happening, and all of the other things. So, like I told you, it's my birthday, so I took a day off spells and coachings and everything. And thank you all that told me that I should simply enjoy myself. But I really wanted to make these audios and didn't have the time. And these are topics that I need to cover in more detail, and it's just impossible when I have my work days. So I really wanted to kind of do it today, and don't worry, it's not overwhelming for me, and I am relaxing. I truly am relaxing. But yeah, I always want to give something when it's my birthday. So view these audios and videos as a gift, I guess. So tomorrow, it's back to business as usual. So, I'm not gonna have time to make a really long audio about karmic contracts at all. So, anyways, how and why they happen is something I want to start with. I actually have some notes for this audio because it's just a bit harder and more complicated. And I never have notes, and I always kind of just go with the flow and just talk from I don't know where. But with this one, I actually made a few notes. So, how and why? So, like we explained in the previous video, our souls do have to go through some things and have to grow. And the way we grow is through pain. We don't grow from pleasure, unfortunately. And I'm really sad about it as well. We all are, right? No one is happy when we're in pain, and it's very painful. But pain is a crucial part of our experience as human beings. Emotional pain, I'm talking. And it just needed to grow, because if our life was always beautiful and pleasurable and everything was great, we wouldn't learn anything, and we wouldn't learn our lessons, we wouldn't grow spiritually. It's just impossible if we don't go through some bad things, and we would never even probably get into spirituality. You would never even find me, for example, if you were not in pain and needed help. So your pain is something that's actually gonna be beneficial in a long run, because it is gonna be, and it is. So we would never even explore spirituality, if we weren't in some sort of pain. Uh, of course, some of us still would, because it's just in our paths, right? And we had to start as little kids, but never mind that now. So, and one of the most painful experience we can have, except of course dealing with death of the loved ones, and things like that, is losing people in different ways. Not just by them passing away, because we all need to pass away, right? And the best way to grow is through emotional pain in terms of romantic relationships. So we do have karmic contracts with friendships as well, and our friends are there as well, some of them, to be here for a while, to teach us something, and some are of course just there as a support for our whole lives. It depends. But today we're gonna talk about the karmic contracts with the romantic partners, because I do think these are the ones from which we grow and learn the most, right? Sorry, I had to pause because I had to sneeze. My spring allergies are, here, and it's kind of late this year, to be honest, because usually they will start sooner, but they're here now. They're kind of starting slowly. So, never mind. Let's go back to the story. So, yeah, the reason why they happen is for us to learn things. So, we're gonna make contracts with certain souls, and they will be for our mutual growth. So, yes, ours, but theirs as well. It's never just one sided when it's karmic. And not everyone we will meet, or even everyone will be in a relationship with, will be a karmic contract. So, that's like important to mention. So let's talk about some symptoms, how you can determine that you are under a karmic contract. So a lot of people describe it as, we just recognize the person from somewhere. This does not mean it's a karmic contract. It can be that we are recognizing them because they're a soulmate, because, we recognize them from past life. We recognize their energy basically from past life, right? Not their appearance, don't get me wrong. There are different things. So that's not one of the symptoms. Symptoms of a karmic contract are usually that they are not really long. They don't last very long, and they are very painful. And it's not just the ending that's painful. They are usually painful through the whole contract in some way. You will feel anxious, you will feel something's missing, something will be missing. It's not gonna be a happy ideal relationship usually, maybe in the beginning, but something will always be off, because that's what needs to happen, right? You're not gonna make a contract with someone and have a beautiful experience that's gonna last for 5 years. That's not how it goes. So it's gonna be, and yes, we're talking clearly about a certain types of karmic contracts. There's more, but I can cover all in this audio. So I'm just talking about the ones that, are happening to you, probably, or happened to you, and which is why you got into this whole thing. You can call them twin flames, you can call them whatever you want. They're simply karmic contracts. I don't like the term twin flames, by the way. Not a fan of that. It's one of those pop culture terms, and I'm not into it. But karmic contracts is a real thing. So they will usually not last super long. And how long they're gonna last, it depends. It can be like a year, it can be 6 months, it could be a few months. I don't think it's usually over like a year. Pretty sure. So you're gonna always notice something's missing. You're gonna always be needy. You're gonna get basically anxiously attached, because you're gonna be needy for something, because you're not gonna be getting something from this person, which is the point of the contract. So something will be missing, and you're gonna get anxiously attached because of that. It's basically gonna trigger a core wound in you. And this is important because our core wounds are something we need to deal with and then learn from and really release and improve. And our core wounds are often about letting the ego go, understanding not everything is so personal, not taking things so personal. So, again, with these karmic contracts, we take them very personal because they're very, very painful, and we end up in a lot of pain, and we get in the victim mentality, in the low vibration. We take them so personal, and the idea is not to. Idea is to learn from them, and not to take them as something where you are this huge victim and you are like traumatized for the rest of your life. So they're here to teach you something, to make you grow, to teach, to learn something from. These people are here as your teachers and to show you something about yourself that needs to be, changed, that you need to realize, that you need to, it can be different things again. So this is why I'm not being specific, because it does depend, and we would have to evaluate your situation to see what it really is. But basically, that's what it is. Now, how a karmic contract ends. So it usually ends very painfully. That's one thing, and it tends to end, suddenly. And even if, you can kind of sense it ending and something's wrong and things, it will just end suddenly. So this person will just suddenly break up with you, for example. It will not be like something you will be expecting. Maybe you will be suspecting that it will happen, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be like you're going to be expecting this in this moment, this in this day. They will just come one day, everything will be fine, and then, this is one way they can end, right? They're just going to be, what, blah blah blah, and they just leave, right? Another thing with endings is that this breakup is gonna be a lot more painful for you than your usual breakups. Every breakup is painful, don't get me wrong. But this one is gonna be especially painful. This one is gonna make you want to explore spirituality, maybe do spells, maybe go into witchcraft, maybe find a witch, maybe find me, right? Maybe get a tarot reading, maybe get into tarot. Whatever the case is, this one is gonna be different. You're gonna feel it a lot harder. You're gonna want some answers. It's gonna leave you like without closure, and you're desperately gonna want closure, and you're gonna crave this person back. So you're really gonna get anxiously attached to your karmic, because that's again just how it's meant to be. Like you meet some people, and even though you are with them, have something to do with them, you don't get really attached, and you don't really care as much, and then this one person, for no like obvious reason, will just make you so crazy about them. And you're gonna think this, it's this crazy chemistry, it's this crazy love, but it's gonna be the contract that's doing that basically, and you need to feel like that, because if that was not the case, you wouldn't be in so much pain when it ended, and you wouldn't be able to grow from your pain, which is the whole idea of a karmic contract. Okay, so when it ends, it's gonna be different than usual ending, and you're gonna have a problem accepting it. Now, a lot of things are destined, so it's destined for you maybe to end some relationships at some point, but it's gonna be different, because yeah, this is destined and that's destined. It's gonna be like a circle is closing, and you're gonna take it a lot easier. You're gonna be able to accept it a lot easier. It's just gonna be like destined, fated. But a karmic contract is something where you're not gonna be able to accept this ending at all. So you're not gonna be able to accept it for really, really long, until you learn something, and until you do your growing lesson, usually. And if you don't learn your lesson, what's gonna happen is you're gonna get another one like that. So just gonna repeat in patterns until you grow and learn your lesson. So, can a karmic contract be stopped? No, it can't. But the repeating one that's already signed as well can be stopped if you end the pattern, if you do learn your lesson. Then the universe is not going to send you your next contract, because you have dealt with it, you've learned from it, and you're not going to get another one. But if you don't learn your lesson, then what's going to happen is, you're going to think you moved on, right? Because we do move on from people. But the universe is going to send you another person, and the situation is going to be quite similar. You're going to go through the same issue with that person. So it can be, for example, that you keep meeting guys that are emotionally unavailable. So one's gonna come, and then it's gonna end horribly, and you're gonna be in victim mentality. It's gonna be painful, but you're not gonna learn anything from the pain, and you will not grow. So the universe is sending you another emotionally unavailable man to repeat the lesson, to make you repeat the experience, to make you get the lesson this time. But if you don't get the lesson this time either, it's gonna send you the third emotionally unavailable man, okay? And it's just gonna be sending them until you learn. Have you noticed that sometimes you have this pattern, with men or with women, and there's something that's similar that connects them all together? That's how you discover you have a pattern. So you have to learn something to break the pattern, to actually be able to get into a healthy relationship with someone, to meet someone healthy, to meet someone that's good for you. So this may happen, in a row, this pattern, or maybe not in a row. It honestly depends, and I can't really know. So a question that a lot of you ask, and I think I answered this already, is it over when the contract ends? So sometimes the contract doesn't really end when you think it ends. Sometimes it does not end with a breakup, and sometimes something else needs to play out as well. It really depends on a situation, and it's hard for me to give like exact answers to questions like this. Also, when the contract ends and when you learn your lesson and when you grow, does that mean that you can never reconnect with this person, that you can't get this person back? It does not mean that you can, because now once the contract is over, it's broken, you are now just two individuals that are able to get in a relationship without the obstacles that were there before and that you have grown from. So yeah, that is the short version about karmic contracts. It's more complicated than this, of course, and there's a lot more that I could tell you about them. I just don't want to overwhelm you and give you too much information that you're not maybe ready to process yet. But it's a really complicated and complex thing. But what is important for you to know, that they happen for a reason, that the pain happens for a reason, that you should let go of taking everything personally and being a victim, and you should look at it from kind of a perspective of your soul. So not your ego, your soul, because your soul needs to grow, and we have lessons and we learn things in this lifetime. So try to look at it as from from soul's perspective. So I need to learn, this happened for this and this reason. I need to learn this. I need to change this about me. I need to start doing this. I need to stop doing this. It just depends, because it's different for everyone, and it's really hard for me, again, to talk about these topics that are so profound and like so complicated, just in general way, because it's just easier to do it on a certain example. So we do go through that in coaching, what you need to learn. And some people, like I said, are maybe not ready yet to hear that, but I'm here to help and show them, and then make their life easier. So yeah, that's what coaching's for. But just if you're doing the process yourself, because not everyone is coaching, absolutely a lot of you can do it yourselves, and a lot of you have done it yourselves, and that's great. So this is why I'm making these audios, for those of you who are going through it on your own. So yeah, try to look at it, try to distance yourself from the ego, try to distance yourself from like this hurt victimized person that's like taking it also personally. Oh, this and this happened to me, why? Yeah, there's a reason why, so think about the reason why. Try to look at it as a growth experience, as a lesson, because it is a lesson. That's what it is. So try to look at it for what it is instead of just staying in this pain that is just basically a symptom. It's not what this is about. It's not about, breaking your heart and making you miserable. That's not what this is about at all. And that's not why this happened at all. So try to find patterns if there are some in your lives. Try to think about why and what you need to learn and how to stop them. And then, yeah, the universe is probably going to send you some tests to see if you learned. So you need to prove that you learned a lesson. And then, it's going to stop with the patterns once you learn the lesson. That's just how it is. So I hope this makes sense. I know this type of lessons are a bit um, difficult, and it's difficult for me as well to like really explain it in a way that's understandable to everyone. And I try my best. I honestly do. But I know it's confusing, and the main takeaway is, however, you need to learn things, you need to learn lessons, you need to grow spiritually. That's why we meet people. That's why we get our hearts broken. That's why we have contracts with people that will leave us totally broken. And yeah, there's a reason for it. It's a really good reason, and important one to understand.